We're going to go over the 5 foods that can really be detrimental with lipedema when you are trying to manage your signs and symptoms. Some of these are going to sound familiar, but I'm actually going to tell you the how they create issues for us lippy ladies. So stay tuned. The first one is obvious, and that is refined carbohydrates and sugar. We know that they are empty calories. We know that they create more body weight, but what's at the core of that recommendation? Why do we really feel like diets that avoid carbohydrates and sugar are better for us with lipedema? The reason is that these types of foods increase oxidative stress in the body, increasing inflammation, systemic inflammation, or low-grade chronic inflammation. The other pressing issue is that these foods don't have fiber, so they increase blood sugar spikes, which in turn creates more insulin production, and insulin is our fat storing hormone. So while we're enjoying these foods in the short term, they are actually causing more issues with lipedema really in the short term, but more so in the long term, because they're going to cause us to store more fat, and they're going to make us more estrogen dominant simply by having that fat storage, and they're going to make us more inflamed. So that's why we care about those processed carbohydrates and added sugars. The next food is processed meats. Listen up. I know that these are really handy when you are in a pinch, and I get it, and they are okay every once in a while, but these foods are high in chemical sodiums like sodium nitrate, and we know that these sodium solutions turn on gene expression to be more pro-inflammatory. So really try and avoid processed meats. They're not good for us for a number of reasons, but we definitely don't need them turning on our epigenetics to be more inflamed. The next food that we want to be mindful of is omega-6 fats. These are the processed oils that are in so many processed foods. But obviously, some of these are those seed oils that we hear so much about. Not all seed oils are bad. The reason that we care about seed oils is that they're extracted at high heats and sometimes using chemicals, and they can be more pro-inflammatory compared to oils that are pressed or cold extracted like olive oil and avocado oil. But I mean, some of this requires a little bit of common sense here with terms of dose dependency. Don't make these your everyday oils, but if you're making a dish that uses sesame oil every now and again, totally fine. The problem with omega-6 fats is that they upset the balance between omega-3 fats and omega-6 fats. And omega-3 fats that come from things like avocado or cold water fish, these types of fats, they are anti-inflammatory, whereas omega-6 fats lean more into the pro-inflammatory realm. That was a mouthful. So we want to go more with omega-3 fats when we have the opportunity. The next thing is ultra-processed foods, which many of these things that I've hit on are ultra-processed foods. But even the healthy options of ultra-processed foods that are marketed to be convenient and simple and easy for us, these are most often just frankenfoods with a lot of ingredients that were created in a lab, and your body has no idea how to digest these foods, and you certainly aren't getting good nutrition for them. So although they may be keto or low in sugar or simple to heat in the microwave or things you can eat on the go that have no added sugar or no fat, look at the ingredients. And if you don't really recognize what those ingredients are, do you think that your body and your intestines are going to recognize those ingredients? A little bit of these foods every now and then is okay, but they shouldn't be the basis of your nutrition. They're not doing you any favors. The last thing is one that is going to really hurt your feelings for many of you, and that is alcohol. Look, alcohol upsets adipose tissue metabolism. When we know that lipedema tissue is already at a disadvantage with regard to the way our mitochondrial enzymes work, drinking alcohol is just adding insult to injury by making that balance and that process even slower. The other thing is that it can impair lymphatic function because it can dehydrate us. And when we are dehydrated, our lymphatic fluid becomes more viscous and thick, and when that happens, the protein in the lymphatic fluid can create more fibrotic tissue. This is getting to be a long reel, so I'm going to go, but those are the 5 foods, and those are how they really impact lipedema. And these are science-based facts, so these aren't just things that I made up. These are things that you really want to keep in mind and make sure that these foods aren't part of your everyday routine. See you next time, ladies. Bye-bye.